Okay. So it's been, I think, for most, a pretty emotional week. A lot of um, ups and downs and all arounds and divisions and unity and so many different, at least for me, so many different emotions. And yesterday was a big sigh of relief. And there was a lot of excitement, as we were talking about. Downtown Asheville was going crazy, people honking and flags. And it was just really fun to see all that excitement. But something that I kind of have been reflecting on, or what I noticed yesterday, was the prior days. I don't know how many days was it, 4 or 5 days before, almost everyone that I talked to was sharing how anxiety levels were super high. And I started reflecting, like, I think it was the fire class or it was the Sunday class. I can't remember. I was oh yeah, it was a fire class because it was before I filmed it before the election. And I started talking about kind of like how sometimes anxiety can be good, like productive anxiety. So perhaps you are anxious about something and then it causes you to take action. So maybe you volunteered or did something, took action from this anxiety. And then, at least in my own life, there's this non-productive anxiety. And that is where I was at. Yeah, that's where I was at for the days prior to yesterday. It was just this like scrolling on my phone, like could feel it in my body. And it wasn't productive anxiety. It was just straight up kind of destructive anxiety. So yesterday, after heard the news, I was driving my son to our community kirtan, and I drove by this house and they were like all excited and decorated. And it was just beautiful. It was like Christmas American Biden decorations. And I drove by and I just lost it. I just started bawling. And it was one of those rare moments where it was so clear that the tension that I was holding in my body just needed to come out, and I didn't have um, the energy to fight the release. It just happened. I was crying, I was releasing this energy, and it felt really good. And I think it just reminded me of something that I know, which is that the body really keeps the score. There's a great book called The Body Keeps the Score. The body, even when we think we've processed something, or maybe we wrap our head around like what we're going through, the body has its own experience as well. And it's important, if we can, and we can't always, but sometimes we can, to allow the body to release and express. So those of you who have taken my classes before know that oftentimes I get really specific with alignment and anatomy and posture. But today we'll do a little bit of that. But today I want to offer and allow for just expression and some freedom in the body. So we're going to do a more flow-based practice. It will still be like slow and aligned, but it's going to be a little more flowy. And again, this is just an invitation to spend the next hour really checking in with yourself and allowing, if it's available, allowing for the body to kind of shake some things off or feel what the body is feeling. I hope that makes sense to everyone. I'll add in one thing. In this like state that I was in, I actually bought a trampoline because I felt like that's how much I felt like I just needed to like shake or just release. So another good way to kind of move some things out is just shaking or dancing, or maybe if you have a trampoline or want to take it to that level, you buy a trampoline and bounce every day. It's really good for our nervous systems and our health and our body. Okay, that's enough for me. So another great way to check in is sitting quietly. So that's what we'll do now. Find a comfortable seated position. See if when you come into your seat, You can really feel that, like occupy your body, occupy your seat. I like to just take a few moments to help my body sit well. So perhaps elevate your pelvis. Take any adjustments you need. And then we'll go through a little meditation of the senses. So I like to start by feeling the body touch the earth, feeling that connection, pelvis to ground, and really allowing the body to root down, to settle down. Perhaps you can notice the touch of the air on your skin. Notice any sounds and see if the sounds can just be like a kaleidoscope, coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. And then we'll move inwards a bit. So to bring the awareness, attention within, see if you can notice the touch of the breath to the body. So instead of body to breath, see if you can go other way, touch of breath to the body. This meditation, this coming back, this return to our senses, it's really just another way to bring presence, attention, and awareness. And then once you feel, it's almost this feeling of sitting in the center of yourself. See if you can just take a breath or two to check in with the body. Maybe even ask without expecting a response, but just offering and just asking the body, what is it that you need? And sometimes we can sense like an area that the body is holding of tension, tightness. And perhaps you can offer just a few loving breaths to that area. Good. Whenever you're ready, there's no rush here. Go ahead and bend at your elbows and bring your hands to heart center. Just take a moment, pause, gratitude for the breath, gratitude for the body. And then we can release our hands down and softly open our eyes. And we'll lie back flat on our backs to get started today. So I like to remove the block and just place it by the side. And then when I come to lie on my back, I have my knees bent. And then I just rest. And again, I come to the sense of the body touching the mat, touching the earth, particularly the back of the head, the back of the pelvis, the sacrum, and the back of the shoulders heavy on the mat. See if you can take 3 radiant breaths up and down your spine, just laying on your back. Settling into the center of ourselves before we begin. Good. And then after your next exhale, go ahead and straighten your right leg up towards the ceiling. A soft bend in the right knee is totally fine, especially if the hamstrings are tight. And then just point and flex that right foot 3 times. Keep the sacrum, the pelvis heavy on the mat. After the 3rd pause in between a point and a flex, and we're just gonna warm up the core, warm up the legs. By inhaling, lower the leg down towards the mat, doesn't have to come all the way down. Exhale, lift the leg back up. Inhale to lower. Exhale to lift. Good, we're gonna keep going here and we're gonna add the arms. So you're gonna lift your arms up like you're hugging a big tree. And then on the inhale, we're gonna lower the left arm overhead, right arm lowers down. Exhale brings it all to center. So diagonals here. Inhale, right foot drops, left arm overhead. Exhale, center. Keep going. We'll do 3 more on this side with your breath. Inhale to extend. Exhale to center. See if you can continue to ask the navel to draw back towards the spine so the core stays integrated here. Last one. Pause at the top, bend the right knee, and then lower the hands, one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Drop back in. Notice your breath. Notice these two places. And then see if you can just release with your next exhale, perhaps a little bit of holding, a little bit of tension. Good. From here, we lift the left leg up towards the sky, point and flex the foot 3 times. Soft bend in the knee is totally fine. And then pause in between a point and a flex. And then we'll just start with the legs. So inhale to lower, exhale to lift the leg up. Inhale to lower, exhale to lift. And then once you have the leg movement down, you can go ahead and lift the arms up like you're hugging a big tree. We'll work the diagonals again. So inhale, right arm overhead, left leg down. Exhale brings it all back to center. Inhale, leg and arm reach. Exhale, center. We'll do 3 more, own pace, own breath. Check back in with the belly button down towards spine. Good. Last one. And then pause at the top. Lower the foot down. Lower the arms down by the sides. Take a breath up and down your spine. We'll do one more little tensegrity repair sequence here. So we're going to lift both feet up this time. If this is too much on your low back, you can either bend your knees or you could place your feet down, place a block underneath the pelvis, and then lift the feet back up. And then we're going to lift our arms up back in that tree hugging arm position. And then from here, we're going to inhale, open the arms and legs both open wide. Exhale, bring it back to center. So in this movement, we really feel that deep front line, particularly in the low belly, so underneath the navel. And we try and use the strength from our center, the strength from our core. So it's less about the movement from the limbs, less about the movement from the arms and the legs, and it's almost as if you can feel yourself moving from the center of yourself. See if you can do 3 more. Go as slow as you'd like. Go as fast as you'd like. One more here. And then pause with the feet together. And then we're going to bend our knees. Keep the knees glued together and we'll do some connected twists. So knees to the left, shoulders to the right. And then knees to the right, shoulders to the left. So the knees and shoulders are moving in opposite directions. I like to think about drawing the mouth of a smiley face with my knees, or the letter U. There's a little hook up on each side that gets the obliques involved. Good. If you want more of a challenge, you can straighten the legs, and then it's the exact same movement, but with the legs straight. It's much more demanding on the core if we straighten our legs, and it's much harder to balance. So just be mindful of that. And then we'll do a few more on each side. See if you can allow this movement to feel good. See if you can allow the head, the neck, the shoulders to relax a bit. And then go ahead, pause in the center, hug your knees into your chest. Take a full radiant breath here. And then go ahead, roll to one side. Press down through your hands and make your way up to a kneeling position or any seated position that's comfortable for you today. Okay, so we're gonna do just a few shoulder rolls. So we oftentimes in anxious times, stressful times, we hold tension in our shoulders. So see if you can draw your shoulders up, back, and down, one arm at a time, one shoulder at a time. So in order to have healthy functioning shoulder movement, we need to allow the shoulders to move in 3 different places. The head of the arm, this is the ball and socket joint, the scapula or the shoulder blade that moves the arm up and down. And then we also need a little bit of movement in the clavicle collarbone. So maybe you can close your eyes and see, are you just kind of flinging your arms up and back, or can you really slow down the movement and feel those 3 different areas of the shoulder? Yeah, good. And then go ahead, release that. Another important part of shoulder health is rib mobility. So I want you to see, just seated here, can you pop your ribs forward and then draw your rib cage back? Pop your rib cage forward and then draw your rib cage back. So a healthy shoulder muscle needs ribs that can both open and close. And oftentimes we live in one of these positions, either with the ribs popped out or the ribs drawn back. So just notice if one is easier than the other. And then pause in neutral, and then we'll come to all fours, hands and knees. So hands directly underneath the shoulders, knees directly underneath the hips. Spread your fingers nice and wide. Draw the low belly back. Pause in this neutral spine just for a moment. And then we'll do some cat-cow. So we'll inhale, sit bones back, belly drops, heart lifts. Exhale, tuck the sit bones under, round the spine, back of the heart opens. Inhale, sit bones back, belly drops, collarbones wide, gaze is up. Exhale, tuck the sit bones under and round the spine. Keep going here for a few more breaths. A great place to close our eyes if that feels safe. And just check in with the body, maybe asking yourself again, what does the body need today? What does it desire? Perhaps you want to shake your tail, wag side to side, go round and round. Any movement is welcome here. Good. Next time you come through neutral, go ahead and pause. We're going to take the right hand to the back of the skull, elbow points to the right. Align your spine. So head is right in line with the shoulders, which is in line with the pelvis. And then we're going to inhale, and we're just going to twist slightly up to the right. Notice what mobility you have in that rib cage. Exhale, come back to neutral. Inhale, open to the right, press through the left hand. Exhale, neutral. One more to the right. Inhale. It's okay if there's limited mobility here. Exhale, center. Lower the right hand down. Left hand to the back of the head. Same thing, other side. So we inhale, press through the right hand, twist to the left. Exhale, center. Inhale, open to the left. Exhale, center. One more on this side. Inhaling. And exhale. Good. Lower your hand down and then send the hips back and press back for a child's pose. You could rest your forehead right on your mat. You could make fists with your hands, stack your fists and rest the forehead on your fist. If you want to stay a little lifted, you could shift side to side. You could focus on your breath, perhaps lifting your breath into the back body. Pause here, breathe here, and just continuing on this practice over and over and over again to check back in with the body, check back in with the breath. I love just envisioning where my awareness, consciousness is resting. And I always come back to this idea of resting in the center of myself. Good. Feel your hands on the mat and then lift back up. Tuck your toes under and we'll press back to downward facing dog. So for this first down dog, I like to have my feet a bit wider, so almost as wide as the mat. And I like to bend my knees slightly and send my hips back, relaxing my head. See if you can really feel the hands connecting down to the earth, feet into the earth. And then take a deeper bend in your knees, and on your exhale, when you're empty, go ahead and step your feet forward to a forward fold with a bend in your knees. It can be a deep bend in your knees, no problem. Keep the backs of the legs happy. As you're ready, place your hands on your shins and inhale, halfway lift to lengthen your spine. Gaze stays down, heart reaches forward. Exhale, forward fold. Send your hips back, bend the knees, reach the arms forward for a little Utkatasana. Exhale, sink a little deeper, and then inhale, come all the way up to stand. Exhale, hands come through. Good. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Bend your knees. Exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, hands to shins, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot back, drop the right knee directly underneath the hip and soften the back foot. Lift the chest up so you're in the half kneeling position. Think half kneel instead of lunge. And then again, just draw those shoulders up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. So mobilizing the shoulders. Head of the arm bone, scapula, and collarbone, clavicle, all getting a little movement. Relax the arms. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, lower the hands down. Keep the right hand down. Lift the left arm up for a little twist here, twisting to your left. It's okay to relax the neck. You can drop the right ear towards the shoulder. It's okay to even lean back into that right shoulder blade. Good, and then I like to take my gaze down, take my left hand down. This is a little tricky. We're gonna send the left leg straight back. Good, draw your navel back. Perhaps you can reach your right arm forward. And then 3 times, exhale, elbow to knee, round. Inhale and extend. Exhale, elbow to knee, round. Inhale and extend. Just one more, exhale to round. Inhale and extend. Okay, just lower your right hand down and then lower your left toes down. Dial your hands out, so almost like you're turning a mason jar so that you really plug your arms into the shoulder socket. Arms are nice and active. You could stay here. This builds a lot of heat, just dialing the hands out, or keeping your left toes down, try lifting your right knee up. Little core work. Yeah, keep reaching your heart forward, head in line with the spine, good. And then drop the right knee down. Let's try that again. Lift the right knee up. Dial the hands out. Good, lower the knee down. One more. Lift the right knee up, keep the hands dialing out. Lower the right knee down, pivot on the left foot, and then a little modified side plank. Lift the left arm up. Maybe you even want to reach the left arm overhead, creating a rainbow shape. Breathe into that left side body. Okay, gaze comes down, hand comes down, knees line back up, tuck the toes under, downward facing dog. Good, nice deep breath here. Bend your knees, and then on empty, step the feet forward, forward fold. Hands to your shins, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Sit back like you're sitting in a chair. Inhale, lift your arms up. Exhale, sink a little deeper. And then inhale, stand all the way up. Exhale, hands come through. We'll do the other side. So inhale, arms reach forward and up. Bend the knees, exhale, hinge at the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back this time. Drop the left knee directly underneath the hip, soften the foot, lift the chest up. Draw the shoulders up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. Up, back, and down. Get a little bit of movement. Notice how this movement changes the more your arms warm up. Good. Relax that. Inhale, lift the arms forward and up. And then exhale, lower the hands down. So left hand stays down, right arm lifts. So you're twisting. And you're welcome to drop the ear if that feels good. You're welcome to lean back into that left shoulder blade if that feels good. Gaze comes down, hand comes down. So you really have to draw your navel back and engage the core to send this right foot straight back. Yeah, good. Reach your left arm forward. And the option to stay here or exhale, elbow to knee round. Inhale and extend. Exhale, elbow to knee round. Inhale and extend. One more. Exhale, elbow to knee round. Inhale, extend and pause. Place the left hand down and then touch the right toes down. Dial your hands out like you're opening a mason jar with your hands, and then hover your left knee, maybe. Lower the left knee down. 2 more times. Inhale, hover. Dial the hands out. Yep. And then exhale, lower. Last one. Inhale, hover that knee. And then exhale, lower. Pivot on the right foot. Modified side plank. We lift the right arm up. Maybe we reach it over our ear, making a rainbow shape. Breathe into that right side body. Good. Gaze comes down. Hand comes down, and then go ahead and lower your right knee. Tuck the toes under, press back, downward facing dog. Pedal out your knees, take a few deep breaths. I like to bend both knees and my sit bones back. Good. And on empty with your knees bent, step or hop forward, forward fold. Hands to the shins, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. And then bend your knees with a strong back. Inhale, come all the way up. Exhale, hands come through. Okay, so this time we're gonna step the right foot back. We're gonna bend the right knee. So now you're in a high lunge with a bend in the back knee so that we can align our pelvis to stay neutral. And then you're gonna make fists with your palm, with your hands, and you're gonna take your fists back, and you're gonna lightly squeeze your elbows towards one another. But I don't want them all the way in, like almost like you have a rolled up magazine underneath your armpits. And then from here, just little backs, little pulses back with the arms. A little back, 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 back. So this warms up the rotator cuff, which is really good to work and engage for shoulder health. And we'll just do 5 more. 3, 2, last one. Pause, release the arms down, and you're just gonna turn to the right for a little goddess. So toes point out, soft bend in your knees, draw your pubic bone up, and then again, make fists with your hands and press the fists together, thumbs face up. We're gonna open up and mobilize the rib cage again. So take an inhale in the center, and then exhale, twist to the left. Inhale, center, exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, center. Exhale, left. Inhale, center. Exhale, right. One more on each side. Inhale brings you back. Exhale, twist. Inhale brings you back. Exhale, twist. Inhale, come back to center. Release your arms down so you're in a low V and extend your fingers. And just take a full breath into the front of the chest, into the heart. Notice if your rib cage is popping forward, can you draw your rib cage back? And just let the heart open. Let the front of the arms, the inner arms open. Good, and then release the arms down. Turn to the back of your mat. Soft bend in the left knee this time. Find that high lunge, that kind of supported high lunge. And then again, make fists with your hands, thumbs face up. Wrist, fists go back, like squeeze into the scapula, and then just little pulses back. Back. It's not a big movement. It's really tiny, actually. The tinier you go, the more sensation there is. Good. We'll just do 3 more. Last 2. Last one, and pause. Lower the arms down, turn back to your left into that goddess. This time we'll bend the knees, align the pelvis, and then we'll take our hands to the back of our head. Rest the head into the hands, hands into the head. Good. And then we're gonna straighten our left arm down into the low V. And then you're gonna flip your palm. Yep, and then you're gonna put the hand on the back of the sacrum. Okay, notice if the front of the left arm is popping forward, can you draw the head of the arm back? Good, so internal rotation of the lower arm, the left arm, external rotation of the right arm. Take a breath. And then we're gonna come out of it the same way. So we're gonna extend the left arm out, flip the hand, and then bring it back to the head. Other side, right arm comes into the low V, flip the palm, back of the hand to the back of the pelvis. Notice the top of the right arm. Is it coming forward? Can you draw it up and back? Good. Breathe here. We'll come out of it just the same way. Extend the right arm, flip the palm, and then hand to the back of the head. Good. This time, reach both arms up high, V, and then turn to the front of the mat. Soft bend in the back knee, and then step the back foot forward. Okay, inhale, draw your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale and release. One more like that. Inhale, shoulders up to the ears. Exhale and release. Give your hands a little shake. Release your wrists. Okay, that's all the really big alignment, nerdy stuff we're gonna do today. And now we're just gonna flow with it. So maybe you remember some of those things, the dialing out of the hands, the engagement of the core to keep the body safe and supported through more of our flow, okay? So relax your hands, relax your knees, really feel your feet root into the mat, reach the crown of the head up towards the sky. And we're gonna do a few different Surya Namaskar variations. So inhale, reach the arms forward and up. Bend your knees, exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the right foot way back this time. So a deeper lunge, and keep the back thigh lifted if you can. If you need to lower the knee, no problem, but see if you can keep that back thigh reaching up towards the ceiling. Shift your weight forward without swiping. See if you can step the left foot back, high plank. Take an inhale here, and then exhale, press back, downward facing dog. We're gonna inhale, roll forward, high plank, top of a push-up. You could always lower your knees. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Just one more like that. Inhale, rolling forward. Exhale, pressing back. Inhale, lift the right leg up and back, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step the right foot forward. It's that lifted low lunge. Back thigh lifting up towards the ceiling, towards the sky, and then step the back foot forward, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine, and then exhale, fold. Bend your knees, press through your feet. Inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, come all the way back down, hinging at the hips. Inhale, little lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the left foot back this time. Same thing, but lifted low lunge. And we're gonna add a twist. Inhale, lift the right arm up. Exhale, lower the hand down. Press through your hands without swiping. Can you send the right foot back? High plank. This time, everyone will drop their knees, soften the tops of the feet, bend the elbows, and then inhale, little cobra, up dog. Any way to open the front of the heart. Exhale, back to downward facing dog. Good. Inhale, roll forward, high plank, top of a push-up. Option one is to drop your knees and just do a few rounds of cat-cow. If you want a little bit of a deeper back bend, you can try just descending your pelvis and opening up through the chest for a little up dog, and then pressing back to downward facing dog. Another round or two of cat-cow, or if you'd like to try this little roll, you can roll forward all the way through to a little up dog. Draw the pubic bone up, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg up and back, three-legged down dog. And then exhale, step the left foot forward. Lifted low lunge, right hand stays down, left arm lifts up, twist. Gaze comes down, hand comes down, and then we'll step the back foot forward, forward fold. Make sure your feet are about hips width. A good way to measure is 2 fists in between your feet. Relax your head, relax your neck, relax your shoulders. Then find your shins, so hands on your shins, and inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. We're gonna do that 2 more times. With your breath, like a wave, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale, halfway lift. And exhale, fold. Good. Sit back like you're sitting in a chair. Reach your arms forward, Utkatasana. Exhale, sink a little bit deeper. And then inhale, lift all the way up. Exhale, bring your hands through. Just pause, Tadasana. Take the weight in your left foot, lift your right knee up, and we'll come to a tree pose. So foot either at the ankle, the calf, or the inner thigh. Press foot to leg, leg to foot, and make that connection. And then you choose your arm position. Sometimes I like to interlace my fingers, press my palms away from my heart, and then take the arms up overhead, giving myself a little traction, a little bend in the elbows to open up through the tops of the shoulders. You could do a funky tree, catching the bind, bending the left elbow, whatever feels good to you. So a really nice practice to find the center of yourself is to try and close your eyes and hold this pose with your eyes closed. So sometimes finding the center of ourselves means kind of fumbling. At least in my life, that's been true. So maybe it's not in the cards for today. That's okay. Maybe you can find the center of yourself in a different way. But there is something nice about kind of closing the eyes and playing with that. When you're ready, open your eyes and then place that right foot down. Press into both feet, feel that connection. And then inhale, reach your arms up overhead and then lift the heels up off of the mat. So you're on your tippy toes and then hold on your tippy toes and exhale, cactus your elbows. Good. Inhale, extend the arms up. Exhale, cactus the elbows. One more time. Takes a lot of inner thigh, core strength. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, cactus. And then let the arms come all the way down as the heels come down. Bend your knees, root into your right foot this time. Lift your left foot up, either to the inner thigh, calf, ankle, up to you. Find the foot to the leg, leg to the foot, and then root in. It's like settling in, thigh to leg, settling in into yourself. If you did so on the other side, or even if you didn't, play with the arm variation, maybe interlacing the fingers, taking the hands away from the heart, lifting the arms up. If you caught the bind, you might want to do that on this side too, bending the right elbow this time. Really any arm position that feels nourishing to your body today. And then maybe you try with closing the eyes. When I close my eyes, I like to tend to move my arms in a different way. I like to bring my hands back to my heart, maybe even press my fingertips together to help me center. Try and keep the breath relaxed, especially if you close your eyes. And then you can open your eyes whenever you're ready and place that left foot down. Okay, inhale, lift the arms forward and up. Exhale, hand at your hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step it back, downward facing dog. Inhale, roll forward, high plank, top push up. Either lower your knees, do a round of cat-cow, or perhaps try that pelvis moving through, heart moving forward. Exhale, back to downward facing dog, wherever you are. Inhale, lift the left foot up, back, and then exhale, step the left foot forward. We're going to pivot on our right foot and we're going to come up to a Trikonasana base. So left leg will straighten, right foot's parallel with the back edge of the mat. Arms come out to the side. Take a nice full inhale and a nice exhale. And then inhale, start to move the left fingers forward. And then exhale, let the left hand fall. It doesn't have to come down to your toes. It doesn't have to come down to your shin. I actually like to work a little bit higher in Trikonasana so that both side bodies stay nice and long. If you want a little more core challenge, you could reach the left arm forward, right arm up. And then you'll definitely stay higher lifted and you'll also engage your abdominals. Okay, gaze comes down to that left foot, bend the left knee, and we're gonna come into an extended side angle. Reach the right arm forward, press through that right foot, that's your back foot. And maybe you can even spin your belly button, spin your heart up towards the ceiling. Right, take another full breath here. And then look down towards your left foot, root through your feet, and then come up, Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. And then we're gonna reverse it. Drop the right arm, lift the left arm up. Full breath into this left side, left rib cage. Exhale, bring it back to Warrior 2, and then windmill your hands down to frame the left foot. So you're gonna pivot, drop the right knee, and then inhale, lift your arms up. So now you're in a deeper low lunge. Hey, we're not in a 90-90, we're really in a deeper low lunge. Exhale, lower your fingertips down. Inhale, work the left leg straight-ish. And then exhale, bend into that left knee. We're gonna flow like that. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, float the hands down. Inhale to straighten the leg. Exhale to bend the knee. Nice and smooth. Inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower down. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. Pause here in the lunge. We're gonna lift up off the back knee, and we're gonna step the right foot just a bit to the right. So a Warrior 1 stance, bend into the left knee, and then inhale, lift the arms up for Virabhadrasana 1, Warrior 1. Good. Exhale, bring your hands through heart center and straighten the left leg. Try and square the hips. So left hip draws back, right hip draws forward. Inhale, lift your chest up. And then exhale, just start to hinge over that left leg. Does not mean that your hands have to come down. You don't need to even round your spine. You might take your blocks, continue to reach your heart forward as you send your pelvis, your tailbone back. Good. Take a nice full breath here. And then bend into your left knee, that's your front knee. Walk your hands forward and float the right foot up for a little standing split Warrior 3 mashup. So right toes point down, hands are on the earth, heart reaches forward, long spine. Healthy way to stretch our hamstring here. And then exhale, lower the right foot to meet the left, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, lengthen your spine. Exhale, fold, and just let the head go, let the shoulders go, let the neck go. If it feels good, you could wrap your hands in your elbows, kind of hang here. If this fold feels too deep, you could bend your knees and rest your elbows on top of your thighs, almost like a downhill skier kind of position. See if you can stay for a few more breaths wherever you are. And then feel your feet, and then sit and send your hips back, lift your chest up, and we're all gonna reach our arms back. So we're all really gonna go into that downhill skier pose, almost like you're squeezing a block in between your two hands. Keep your arms where they are, press through your feet, inhale, stand up. Exhale, send the hips back. So maybe we'll call these skiing squats. Inhale, press through the feet, lift up. Exhale, sit back. Just one more inhale, lift up. Exhale, send it back. And then inhale, reach the arms forward and stand all the way up. Exhale, hands come through. Place one hand on your belly, one hand on your heart. Check in with your body. Check in with your breath. Like to check in with the left and the right, the front, the back, up and down. Just continuing to come back to this practice of checking in with our body, checking in with our breath, checking in with our mind. Good. Release your hands down, open your eyes if they're closed. Inhale, reach the arms forward and up. We'll do the other side. Exhale, hand to the hips, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step your feet back, downward facing dog. You could hop if you'd like. Good. Inhale, roll forward. High plank, top of a push-up. You can always lower your knees and cat-cow, or you can drop the pelvis, lift the heart through for that little down dog to up dog, back to downward facing dog. Nice and slow, controlled here. Inhale, lift the right foot up and back, three-legged down dog. Exhale, step the right foot forward. Pivot on the left foot so it's parallel with the back edge of the mat. Triangle base, we lift the arms up. So I take my time, I check in with my back foot parallel with the back edge of the mat. Right toes point forward, soft bend in both knees. Arms come out to the side. Just take a full breath here. There's no rush, nowhere to go, nowhere to be. Then when you're ready, inhale, you're gonna reach the fingertips forward. Exhale, arm can come down. And then try and notice if you just sink down, the shoulders often collapse when we sink down, like when we're really trying to get our hand to our foot. What happens if you lift that right arm a little higher, keep the chest open, keep the side bodies open, maybe even reach the right arm forward, like you're making an uppercase L with your arms. Get the core involved. Good. Gaze comes down to the right toes. Bend the right knee. Come into extended side angle. Reach the left arm up and over. And then maybe belly button starts to open towards the ceiling. Heart starts to open towards the ceiling. Breathe here. Good. Gaze down at the right foot. Engage your core. Press through your feet. Lift up. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. And then we'll reverse it. So we'll drop our left arm, lift our right arm up, breathe into the right side body. Good, bring it back, Warrior 2. Gaze comes down to the right foot. We windmill our arms all the way down, pivot on that back foot, drop the left knee. And then with control, pressing through the feet, we inhale, lift our arms up. Exhale, lower the fingertips down. Inhale, straighten the right leg this time. Exhale, bend into the right knee. Nice and fluid. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. One more. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Inhale to straighten. Exhale to bend. Pause in the lunge. We lift the back knee, so lift the left knee and send the left foot a bit to the left. Virabhadrasana 1 stance. Bend into the front knee. Use the feet to lift yourself up. Lift your arms. Take a full breath. And then exhale, hands come through. We straighten the right leg. Really align the pelvis. So right hip back, left hip forward. And then on your next exhale, you can slowly start to hinge forward over that right leg. Great place for blocks, or you can tent your fingers. Maybe you work with a long spine, hey, reaching the heart forward, reaching the pelvis back. I like a soft bend in both knees. Happier for my joints. Good, and then we bend a little more deeply into the right knee. We walk our hands forward and we lift our left foot up. Little Warrior 3 standing split mash up, again with the long spine. Take another deep breath here. Healthy way to stretch our hamstrings. Good. Place the left foot next to the right. Forward fold. Check in with the distance between your feet. Make sure your feet are hips distance, if that feels good. And then you can take any arm position. You could, again, take the hold of the elbows. You could lift up a little higher if forward folds don't feel good for your back. But see if wherever you go, if you can just freely breathe and release, maybe even breathing out the mouth on the exhale for just 2 more breaths. Sometimes in forward folds, it feels like the thoughts can just kind of melt away. They can just pour out of us. Sometimes we're not ready to release them. Good. Wherever you are, exhale, send the seat back, and then reach the arms back, that downhill skier pose again. Press through the feet this time. Inhale, lift the arms, straighten the legs. Exhale, hands come through heart center. Take a moment, take a breath. Good. Inhale, reach your arms forward and up. Exhale, hinge your hips forward, fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step the feet back. Down dog. Feel your hands and feet lean into the mat, lean into the earth. And then drop your knees down, all fours. Tuck your right toes under, glide that right foot back, and then pivot on the right foot. Again, come into this modified side plank. And then lower the right hand down. And then we'll do the other side. So knee lines up, left toes tucked under, pivot, left arm lifts up. And then lower the hand down. So you can continue with the modified side plank, or you can follow along for our full side plank. If you want to try full side plank, tuck the toes under and come into down dog. I like to send my feet a little closer together and bend my knees. I step my left hand forward just a few inches, or maybe even just an inch, and then I pivot and I turn so that I can lift my right arm up as I straighten my legs. Yeah, beautiful. Take a breath. Maybe you feel that dialing out of the left hand. Gaze comes down, hand comes down. Back to down dog. And then we'll do the other side. So I bend my knees, I step my right hand forward just an inch, and then I turn to my left so that the left arm can lift as my legs straighten. Maybe you feel that dialing out of the right hand. Breathe here. Gaze comes down, hand comes down. Downward facing dog. And then lower your knees down. See if you can take your knees a little wider this time and come into a puppy pose. So you walk your arms forward and the pelvis stays lifted as it moves back. Notice if you just collapsed in the rib cage and that the ribs draw down towards the mat. See if you can draw them back towards your back body and come into the pose that way. Take a nice deep breath up and down the spine. Good, and then feel your hands lift back up, all fours. So I'll show two options. So we can come back into modified side plank and maybe try floating the leg. Or if you want to come into the full side plank, we're going to try coming into our little tree pose in side plank, okay? So you choose what's best for your body. And sometimes I even like to ask myself when we come to these forks in the road and practice, sometimes I literally just ask my body, what feels right? Sometimes I get an answer, sometimes I don't, but see if you can really ask your body. So you choose all fours or down dog. If you're going into the full version, maybe take your feet a little closer together. Step the left hand forward, turn to your right, knees stay bent, and then the legs straighten as the right arm lifts. Good, and then maybe you lift your right foot into Vrikshasana, into tree pose. If you're on modified, maybe you lift that right leg. Okay, gaze comes down whenever you're ready. Hand can come down, and then foot comes down. Other side, bend your knees, set the right hand forward, pivot to your left, straighten the legs as you lift the arm, and then you choose, do you want to try tree in your side plank? If you're in modified, maybe you straighten that leg. Good, whenever you're ready, gaze comes down, hand comes down, and then foot comes down. And then go ahead and lower your knees and just come into kneeling and roll out your wrists. Maybe roll out your shoulders while you roll your wrists. Good. And then another little decision point. So from kneeling, we're going to come into a squat. So you could either use your block and place the block right underneath your pelvis and stay lifted. Elbows on the inside of your knees. So if you're staying in squat, sometimes it can be nice to drop one arm and then lift the other arm up. This is a really healthy movement, these diagonals for the shoulders. Really think about reaching through your fingers and feeling the diagonal lines right to left. So you're more than welcome to stay with this. You could pause with the center. If you're feeling your hands are nice and alive and you want to try a little arm balance, you could take your knees into your armpits, plant your hands down, and you could fly, do a little crow. Good. Whatever you decide is fine. If you want to play with your inversion, you can. No pressure. Good. And then whenever you're ready, you can lower down back into your squat, just hands to the heart. Release the hands down, shift the weight forward, send the hips back, and remove the block. And then we're going to come onto our bum for a seat. Yeah, straighten your legs, wiggle out your knees. Just take a few breaths here. I'll turn so you can see me. We're gonna bend our right knee, hold on underneath our left ankle and our right knee, and we're just gonna rock our right hip. So I like to keep my left foot flexed. And sometimes this is just a great place to stay. You could stay here instead of doing the forward fold if this is feeling really good in your body. It's similar to that, like bouncing or shaking. This rocking is really nice for our nervous system. It doesn't have to be so close to your chest. You could take it out further away if that's better. Okay, whenever you're ready, I feel like I could stay here forever, but we won't. You can take your right foot and place it in the inside of your left thigh. And then inhale, lift your arms forward and up. And then exhale, we're just gonna take a little twist to the left. So I'm not worried about forward folding. My right hand is just about in line with my left knee. And I'm just thinking about getting a little rotation across the left chest, opening up the left side of the body. Good, take one more breath. And then on your exhale, come back to center. I like to cross my left arm over my right. And then with a long spine, I come forward. So I can catch my toes, but you don't have to. You can have your hands on your thighs, shin, knee, whatever works. And then I like to just pause with a long spine. So we are going to fold forward, but I like to just give myself a little length. So it's almost like a shimmy of my rib cage right to left. And I can just feel my spine get a little bit longer. And then whenever you're ready, there's no pressure, but whenever you want, if you want, you can forward fold over that left leg. You could relax the head. You can even round the spine. And then when you come to the forward fold, can you look at the breath almost like a wave up and down the spine? And perhaps that wave even slightly physically lifts you. So as I inhale and I feel the wave up my spine, I actually lift my chest forward and I kind of straighten out my spine. And then exhale as the wave kind of crashes, I let my head come down. So if you like that, if you can imagine that and really feel that in your body, then feel free to keep riding that, keep going with the breath, waving up and down the spine. Good. And then we're all gonna inhale and halfway lift. So just lift out of it and then plant your hands on the mat or on your body somewhere. Feel your hands. Just pause. And then on your next inhale, lift all the way up. I like to take the arms up with me. And exhale, hands come through. Okay, we're gonna take the right foot to the outside of the left leg. And we're gonna come right into a twist. So we're gonna inhale, lift the arms forward and up. And then exhale, you're gonna twist to your right, hugging that right knee into your belly, into your chest. Okay, so notice if you're leading in this twist with your head, can you draw your head back so the head rests on top of the shoulders? And think more about getting wide and open across the collarbones and even through the rib cage than about how far you can twist. And then again, can the breath kind of take over here? The breath tends to know where to go. Sometimes we say where the attention goes, the breath flows, but I think it can also work the other way. If you let the breath flow, that's normally where the attention needs to go. Good. Next, exhale, go ahead, unwind. And then we'll just do a little counter twist. So a little twist to the left. And then come back to center. Good. Release that right knee, wiggle it out. I like to point and flex my feet a few times, kind of notice the difference in the length between the two legs. And then when you're ready, you can hug that left leg in. So I hold on, kind of put my foot like karate chopped in my right elbow crease. And then I hold on in my left elbow crease to the left knee. And I like to interlace my fingers. It just makes it feel a little more secure. And then I just do a little rocking. I love to close my eyes here, and then I kind of allow my body to find the rhythm of this rocking, this soothing to my nervous system. So what I mean by that is I actually point and flex my right foot, and it feels like that's kind of the pulse that kind of keeps the rocking and the left hip going. It also helps my brain connect the two sides. So it just is a nice way to kind of get the two sides working together while they're still functioning independently. You can play with that if that makes sense, or you can let that go, either one. So you're more than welcome to stay here as long as you'd like. If you're ready, when you're ready, you can pause, and then you place that left sole of the foot in the inside of the right thigh. Inhale, we reach our arms forward and up, and then exhale, it's just this high twist to the right. So opening up the right side body before coming forward. Again, not worrying about the forward fold here, just opening up the collarbones a little more. A nice full breath. And then whenever you're ready, you just turn back to center. I like to lift my right arm up and I just cross it over the left. And then I inhale, kind of lengthening, and exhale, I come forward. And again, my fingers reach to my toes, but they don't have to. And see if you can find that nice long spine first. And maybe if it feels good, if this makes sense, you can do a little shimmy. So I literally just do this tiny movement to left, tiny movement to right. And when I do that, I can feel length all the way out of actually my right hip, right side body, right rib cage. And then as I find that length, because it takes some time to find the length to come forward, then whenever I find it and I feel ready, then I forward fold over that right leg. And you might feel like, okay, I haven't found that, so I'm going to stay with a long spine. Either way is fine. See if you can release your shoulders a little bit. Sometimes we tense them up when we forward fold. Try and keep them relaxed. Maybe you find that wave of the breath up and down the spine, even lifting slightly and then exhaling to go deeper. Yeah. Good. And then feel your hands. Next, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, pause. Place your hands on the mat, on the earth. And then inhale, lift all the way up. I like to take my arms with me. And I exhale, bring my hands through heart center. Good. So now we'll take the left foot on the outside of the right leg. We inhale, lift our arms up, and then exhale, twist to the left. So many of you have heard me say this before, but what does it feel like to actually back out of the twist a little bit to really find that alignment, head, shoulders, pelvis? And just shift your attention. So sometimes we think about like cranking and really like asking the body to get into this super twisty position, but perhaps you just switch the intent, the focus, the ask the body. You know, where do you want to go? What feels good? What needs the breath? What needs opening? What needs heat? What needs to just relax? So it's starting to kind of melt away these like pictures of ways poses are supposed to look like, or ways we're supposed to be, or ways we're supposed to feel. And just coming back into like the present moment of what is real, how we're really feeling, what we're really doing. And again, a good teacher of that, or a good check-in with that, is the breath. Notice what the breath is doing. Notice where the breath is wanting to go. Notice where the breath is avoiding. Good. As you're ready, you can unwind, exhale, and then just a little counter twist. Doesn't have to be big, just a little opening to the right. Okay, and then come back to center. Release the knees. Okay, so I went a little longer into the forward fold than I had planned to. So we're gonna do one more thing, and then we're gonna do a little back bend on their back. So I want you to take your hands out to the side, feet underneath knees, and then notice, look at the heads of my shoulders. When we come into this position, naturally, for most of us, the heads of our arms wants to come forward. So I want you to start here just by rolling the shoulders up and back. Good, draw the rib cage back, and kind of relax the squeeze of the scapula. There's a little bit, but oftentimes we do a little too much and we like hyper activate it. So it's there, but it may be a little more relaxed. This is a great place to stay. Or if you feel like, okay, I could use a little bit more, you can try lifting your pelvis up and then lower the pelvis down. So we're not going to drop the head back today. We're just going to do maybe 3 or 4 little lifts and lowers, and really strengthening the arms and the shoulders a little bit here, as well as opening. Okay, and then relax. If you want to try maybe one more, you can turn your fingers towards your glutes, draw the shoulders up and back, and then maybe you just stay because that's a lot, hey? Or maybe you lift the pelvis up and you feel perhaps some tightness, tricep, bicep, down the front of the arm, and then lower down. Yes, no, maybe so. Okay. And then from here, we're going to come onto our back. You could grab your block if you want more of a restorative back bend. And just pause on your back. Take a deep breath. Notice how your body is feeling. So we're going to choose either a supported Setu Bandha, so with a block underneath the pelvis. That's option 1. Or we're going to go perhaps into a deeper back bend with the arms interlaced underneath the pelvis, or maybe even a full wheel. So just kind of, you don't have to go into it yet, but just kind of think about asking your body which back bend feels right for the end of this practice today. And then I want you to just reach your arms up overhead and let the palms rest overhead and draw the shoulders away from the ears. Just kind of feel into the arm lines, feel into the side body. Notice the collarbones, notice those 3 areas of the shoulders we've been talking about. And then slowly just start to bend your elbows so eventually your arms will be in more like a cactus position. And then pause in that cactus position. And again, notice where the breath goes. Notice what feels perhaps a little freer. Notice what still feels perhaps a little stuck. And then you can release the hands down by your side. Okay, so press through the feet and lift the pelvis up. If you want to come into a restorative pose, you just place the block on the lowest setting underneath the pelvis. I like to move the block back a little bit and let my glutes hang off. That feels more comfortable in my low back. Some people have the opposite, so you can play around a little bit. Just make sure the back of the head is heavy on the mat here. And you just pause and you breathe. If you want to go a little deeper, you can press through your feet, lift your pelvis up off of the block. And then one shoulder at a time, you're going to kind of tuck the shoulders under and interlace the fingers underneath the pelvis on the mat. Press the forearms, that pinky edge line, into the mat. You could pause here and breathe. Maybe you say, my body wants to stay for 3 breaths or 5 breaths. Just opening. And then whenever you're ready, you could lower down. If you're in the restorative pose, just stay there. You don't have to move the block. We're going to do 2 more. So maybe you press through the feet, lift up. Maybe just keep the hips lifted. Maybe you tuck the shoulders. Maybe you want to do a full bridge. If you do, you're going to bend your elbows so your fingertips touch right about your shoulders. Then you'll feel your fingertips touch the mat. You'll press through your feet, press through your hands, and then lift up. Feel even weight between your feet and your hands, and then see if you can breathe here. Maybe you want to stay for 1 breath, 3 breaths, 5 breaths. And then tuck your chin when you're ready to come down and lower onto your back. So 1 more back bend of your choice. You choose if you want to go deeper or if you want to back off a little bit. And then exhale, and we'll all start to lower down. So remove the block and just lie back on your back with your knees bent. I like to place my hand, one hand on my belly, one hand on my heart, and just take a few deep breaths here. Take your feet about as wide as the mat. And then we're going to do some windshield wipers. So we're going to drop our knees over to the left, maybe gaze to the right. And then knees come to center, and then over to the right, gaze to the left. So we're going to do 2 more on each side, your pace, your breath. But then after the second, so once you're even on both sides, next time you come to the left, go ahead and pause there, and we're going to stay for 3 breaths on the side. You might want to take it a little deeper by stepping that left foot on top of the right thigh, maybe reaching the right arm up overhead. Gaze to the right. Yeah. Breathe in here. Knowing that there's no rush, you can stay in this pose for as long as you'd like, but whenever you're ready, start to release the foot, release the arm, and then come back to center. And then we'll go to the other side. And so one of the best parts about being at home is that you can hold the poses and the relaxation as long as you'd like. We're going to return to this too. Whenever you're ready, bring your head back to center, legs release, and then come back to center. And then we'll rest in Shavasana. So if there's any other pose you might want to do, like a Supta Baddha Konasana or hugging your knees into your chest, anything that feels good in your body, go for it. And then when you're ready, you can rest with your legs out long, arms down by your side or on your body. Sometimes Shavasana, like traditional Shavasana, is not comfortable. So if you'd rather a child's pose or lying on your side, go for it. And so for this Shavasana, we'll see if we can really practice releasing. So a release doesn't always have to look like a big cry, like what I shared at the beginning of class. Sometimes we access that release by writing or journaling or moving our bodies, sweating, jumping, jogging. Sometimes we can find a release by laughter. Sometimes it's tears. But another kind of release, and I think this is, it's an important practice and part of yoga, is like releasing to the stillness. This is a surrendering to the silence, to the stillness. And it's a challenging thing because there's no distractions. There's no ability to avoid it. So know that you don't have to stay in that surrender for long or for any time if you don't feel ready. But in the Shavasana, see if you can practice at least letting the body release to the earth. This practice of allowing yourself to be a little heavier. And sometimes right when I think that I have relaxed as much as I can, I just try and relax a little bit more. You're more than welcome to stay in Shavasana as long as you'd like. Whenever you're ready, start to bring the awareness back. Perhaps some deep breaths up and down the spine. Perhaps some little movements in your fingers or in your toes, just gently reawakening. As it feels nice to reach the arms up overhead or hug the knees into the chest. Whenever you're ready, you can start to make your way up to a comfortable seated position, maybe rolling to one side, pressing through the hands, and then coming up to sit. No rush. And bend at our elbows, bring our hands to heart center. Just take a moment and gratitude. Gratitude for the yoga, teachings of yoga, practice of yoga, especially during difficult times, anxious times. Gratitude for this body, these bodies, these hearts, these minds. Namaste. Thank you all so much for practicing today. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will see you all soon. I'll send you the recording as well.